For this project I decided to use poplar because poplar accepts the stain really nice and I like working with it. I sawed up the pieces of poplar into their required lengths and then glued them together using Gorilla Glue, and then left it up to dry for about 24 hours. If you are going to glue pieces of wood together to make a bowl, I would recommend gluing a face grain together because it's much better at gluing than an end grain is. I was really impressed with what the result was once I took the clamps off. It was just what I'd hoped for, all glued together nicely with no visible air gaps. I then glued the bit on that would attach to the faceplate and started roughing it out. As you can see, I'm just using my round scraper to turn this round. I wasn't too accurate when I cut the piece of wood out because it didn't really matter given that I was going to be turning it on the lathe anyway. Roughing out the shape of this cup was a really simple process. It only took about 10 minutes. I sanded with 180 grit before applying some red and blue wood stain to it. However, I didn't actually like how it turned out, so I sanded it back again with 180 grit until I couldn't see much of the dye, and then I had another go at reapplying the stain. I used Leberon's blue and red wood stain here. It's the concentrated version, so you dilute it with water and then you can apply it using a cloth. I really like it because it's really easy to use and it comes out really nice. I then started roughing out the shape of the cup using my round scraper. Unfortunately, this cup didn't actually turn quite as well on the interior as I had hoped, but I think that's partly down to skill and nothing to do with the tool or the way that the wood is. Eventually I found a good rhythm for turning the inside of this cup that was finally producing good results, so I just stuck with it and kept hollowing this out until I was happy with the depth. Using a steel rule is advisable here so you don't go through the end of your bowl or cup. In this case I was very careful to ensure that didn't happen because going through that right at the end of your project would be devastating. I found getting the right angle inside this cup to be quite difficult, and that was for a couple of reasons. One was a lack of skill, but the main reason was I struggled with the workbench. This workbench is built for general purpose woodworking, not for lathe turning, so ideally I need to build a new workbench, and that will become a project in the near future. Surprisingly, this cup actually took longer for me to turn the inside than it did for me to turn the inside of the bowl, and I think, again, that was just down to skill. I just found this a lot harder to turn, and I'm not really sure why, but I got there in the end. As you can see here, I'm just applying some food-safe finish to the inside of this cup. I wasn't actually going to use it for food, but I thought I might as well use some food-safe finish, because if I ever did want to use it for food, it at least would have food-safe finish on it. I then sanded back with 400 grit before applying some of this Carna crystalline wax. This Carna crystalline wax is one of my favourite things for woodworking. It is absolutely brilliant and leaves a really high shine. I apologise for the shaky camera here. Unfortunately, when I have the lathe spinning at its highest speed, it does create a bit of vibration across my tripod. And as you can see, it leaves a really, really nice shine to the bowl. And as many of my Instagram viewers pointed out, it does look like a slushie. I then used my tenon saw to cut this off of the lathe. I did try parting it, but I was a bit nervous about doing that, especially given I had applied loads of high gloss Carna crystalline wax to this, and I did not want to ruin that beautiful finish. I then sanded the top of the cup back with 400 grit before applying some more food safe finish to the underneath. I could have stained this, but I didn't see the need given it's not going to be seen. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments section below. Thanks for watching.